Welcome back, everybody, to the Busted Lip Podcast. My name is Mark Pavlich, the one and only 8-time world boxing, WBC, WBA world boxing champion, Jelena Marjinovic. And everybody put your hands together. Make a lot of noise for this cat. All the way from the UFC, you name it, Charles Rosa, everybody on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, brother.
That's strong, Rosa. There we go.
Yep, you know.
How does that happen, Charles? You know, like we read about you. I've known about you for 100 years now. And, you know, I used to own the MFC in Canada for a long time. So a lot of guys at the time when you were with American Top Team back in the day, that a lot of guys from that gym fought for my organization. And then I used to hear your name all the time. It was like, I just kept hearing your name and just keep having your name all the time. How do you go from Boston and get all the way across and go up to Florida and go, oh, I'm just going to become this great MMA fighter. Down to Florida.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jay, for that. Thank you, Jay.
Well, man, I mean, you know, I've lived in Florida for 15 years now. So, you know, I like to say like Boston is what bred me and made me who I am. You know, it's kind of messed up, but all the tough times and all the hard things in my life came from Boston. And then when I came to Florida, you know, it's been all good, you know, it's been sunshine. So it's kind of a weird metaphor, but you know, I mean, Boston is what made me who I am, you know, you know, growing up where I did, you know, playing sports, you know, losing my older brothers to drugs, all the tough things that I went through, you know, it made me who I am. And, you know, I was fortunate enough to have be able to move to South Florida and, you know, kind of change my life and get a little bit of a different start. And, you know, I guess being raised as hot as I was from up there, it just, when I came down here, things were so much easier. And, man, I just, you know, I've been shining since.
Do you think go ahead, Jay.
Oh, it's funny because I agree. I train actually in Del Rey, so we're
nice. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's my house.
So we're pretty much neighbors. But I agree. When you go down to Florida and you're training, it's just there's nothing but good vibes there.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of just like you're enjoying the sunshine. It's not easy because we're training all the time, but it's like, and the heat is something different. Like I don't know if you experienced that when you were down there.
It's no joke, but that's what it's like when you're fighting. It's hot.
It's hot. You're in the kitchen and it's hot and you got to get through it. But I would agree. Like it's kind of a different vibe down there. Like everybody's positive. Like I mean, it all depends on where you go.
No, for sure. Like, where are you from originally? Where'd you grow up?
I live in Edmonton, Alberta, so I just do training camps down in Florida. Well, in Del Rey. So, for people who don't know, you train at a Boca, right? You live in Boca?
Yeah, I trained at American Top Team, and now I got a gym, American Combat Gym, and we got, you know, a bunch of great guys. My older brother comes out of there, and I've been to all the Del Rey boxing gyms. You know, I trained under John David Jackson. When I go to Boston, I train with Mickey Ward. So, you know, I got a good boxing background as well. So
you got all the greats.
You're covered. You're covered. You're definitely covered.
You're covered. You definitely. Mickey Ward, no big deal. Like, okay, I wish I could train with Mickey Ward.
He's the man, dude. I'm sure you'd love to have him.
He's one of the best of the best.
So to bring it back though, we're talking like, you know, when you grew up in Boston, I know you come from a very Italian integrated family, you know, and I know that, you know, Jelena's Serbian, I'm Croatian, and that's kind of like, you know, it's a cultural thing when you come up in that lifestyle, Italian lifestyle. And I could see you being in the kitchen when you were a kid, just messing around with your mom and dad. And, you know, and I know in Italian families, most people don't know this. It's mostly the man who's the better cook. And then that's a fact.
No, that's I mean, my dad's a cook. My mom, you know, she's not the worst cook in the world, but my dad's definitely, you know,
he's the man.
Meatballs. He had me rolling meatballs in the kitchen since I was 3 years old, man. I grew up in a, you know, Irish Boston, Irish Italian family. That's the Boston breed, man. Half Irish, half Italian. And, you know, I say the good thing, you know, the Italian side is where I learned to cook. You know, mostly the values come from there, you know, like, you know, as much, you know, we kind of were a little bit more prideful of the Italian side, probably because of the food and my grandfather actually being from Italy and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I just, it's kind of what made me who I was and growing up in that lifestyle and in that area. I mean, it's just
the fighting came from the Irish side.
Yeah, no, both. I mean, both man.
Sides.
Both sides of my cousins. You know, like, like I grew up like just getting chased every family party, just getting chased by my older brothers and my
Getting
cousins, just
chased.
trying to survive. We just play games. I mean, it was nothing like nobody was ever trying to hurt me, but
Yeah.
like, I was like, we play games like called hide and go beat instead of hide and go seek, and I'll be like, man, please don't find me. So like, and
Your
then
hands were always up,
yeah,
eh? Your
yeah,
hands were
you
always
already
up.
know. And then we'd have like a full size trampoline, and we just have our friends come over and we fight each other. And like I said,
Royal
it was
Rumble.
never it was Royal Rumbles. We never did it to hurt each other, but it definitely made you tough, man. I mean I grew up with two older brothers, and they always taught me never to no let anybody punk you or take anything from you,
Yeah.
and I looked up to them a lot, and so that was kind of the way I grew up, and I grew up tough. But now, it helped me for later in my life, for fighting, and luckily I'm able to do what I love to do every day.
Awesome.
So did you got into? Can you tell me how you got into MMA?
Yeah,
Because you got
yeah.
in 2012, right? So
Yep, that's when I turned. Yeah, I would turn pro. So it's a pretty crazy story, actually. I moved down from. I went to high school in Boston and Peabody, Massachusetts. Actually, graduated from Peabody, Mass. Went to college at Johnson Wales University. Got a degree in culinary arts.
where
At
you
that
played
time,
hockey too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I played hockey and
That's
lacrosse at
awesome.
Johnson and Wales. So I was a triathlete. Played hockey,
Wow.
lacrosse, football, and then college I played hockey and lacrosse. So sports was a huge part of my life, and it was something that I always loved. So times were tough. When I lost my two older brothers, I was 18 in the following year. When I was 19, Dominic and Vincent, I lost
Yeah.
them to accidental drug overdoses. And I feel like mentally that really put me in a tough place. It put me in a hard spot where I started, using drinking and just making bad choices. Just like, I was always getting in trouble. Luckily I had to go to, like centers, like for behavioral centers for juvenile. And then
Yeah.
like when I was 18, they put me in a real, jail place. And I was like, man, this is, I grew up, a place called Bridgewater. It's like a civil commitment where you say that you're a danger to yourself. I've never, been like suicidal or nothing like that. But when you
Sure.
lose your two older brothers and they catch you doing the same thing, they said, you're going away, kid. Like we're not
Charles,
going,
how old were you?
get
How
full
old were
space.
you? How old were you when they passed?
16 and 17. Yep, 16 and then
Jeez.
following year 17.
Like
So I was a
that's
juvenile
got to be
technically,
wow.
but yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So it
That's
was
got
the
to be a
toughest.
tough one, especially at that weird age of 16,
Yeah,
17,
A
that's where,
lot to deal
yeah,
Yeah.
with.
I'm maturing as an adult and finding my identity, and to lose them at that age was super tough. And I think
Yeah.
to answer your question, part of the story, I mean, I was able to graduate college by the skin of my teeth. I was able to, get the degree in culinary arts. And after that, I never really dealt with the pain and the struggle of losing my brothers. So I had an opportunity to go to Florida to kind of change my life, a different place. And man, I went down there and I actually had a therapist at the time. It was like a behavioral treatment center I was able to go to. And I went down there and one of the therapists, said to me like, hey, like, are you happy? And I'm like, well, I've been doing the right thing. I don't drink, I don't smoke weed, I don't do anything anymore, but I feel like something's missing. Like, she's like, well, you played sports and stuff your whole life. Like, why don't you get back into that? And I was like, well, I mean, like, I don't, it's going to be tough. So I joined a men's league. I remember I played hockey and it didn't fit it. It was like a beer league. Like I scored
Yeah.
5 goals. And I was kind of like, hey man, slow down. Like it's not that competitive.
Chill,
And it
chill,
was tough.
man.
It was tough for me.
Yeah.
So the next
That's
thing when I
funny.
came back in, I said, work isn't cutting it. Like I don't just want to be serving salads and steaks to people the rest of my
Yeah.
life. And she said, I'm gonna give you a directive. Why don't you said your might be my uncle and my grandfather were professional boxers. My
That's
my
right.
grandfather was a Navy boxing champion, Dominic Rosa. My uncle Tom the Bomb Rosa was a multiple time tough man world champion boxer. He still fights now. He's almost 60 years old. He's a
Oh
Jesus.
my.
masters. He's a masters champion.
Wow.
But long story short, she said, find a boxing gym. And I walked into what I thought was a boxing gym, but it was American Top Team. I had no idea it was the best gym in the world.
Wow.
My first day in the gym,
Wow.
I sparred with Cole Miller, who was a top 10 UFC
I
fighter
know
at the
Cole.
time.
Yeah.
I had
I
no
read
idea.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I actually just took the class. I borrowed the gloves from the bin. I was like, coach said, hey, first class is free. Come in. Didn't
Yeah.
have gloves, borrowed them. Cole Miller's teaching the class and he's hitting the bag, And sparring comes up and they're like, hey, I'm the odd man out, of course. And I'm like, man, I came here to spar. And the kid's like, well, sit out. It's your first day. So I go, what about you? You want to spar? And Cole Miller, it's UFC fighter at the time, would just
Yeah.
ignore me. So I said, yo, was that a no? And he goes, you want to spar me? I go, yeah, I just asked you. Bro, we went at it. Fucking went at it. I mean, I still feel I won the fight, but he probably whooped my ass. Man, I fell in love with it. And the coach told me that day, he goes, man, that guy's a UFC fighter. And I was like, that skinny, tall kid's a UFC fighter? Like,
Yeah.
and a light bulb went off that day. That when I realized who I went with and realized that I didn't have as much knowledge as him, I go, I can do this. And like I said, long story short, the guy was like, I'm not just spinning your wheels, man. You got
Yeah.
talent for this. I thought he was just trying to get me to sign up to sign the membership, but he was right, man. Charles McCarthy, and I've been with him since 15 years training. Fought in the UFC for 10 years and most all-time wins in the
Amazing.
Boston Garden. And, I'm still at it, man. I got some good fight news coming up and life is good. I got a baby Bella, 8-month-old, and I got a baby boy on the way. So that's something I'm just gonna.
There we go. There we
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Charles,
Yeah.
that's what it feels like when I was doing research on you over the years. And then when I finally got down to really studying for it, it seems like you have this gift to figure shit out. Now, people would probably not say, "Oh, he's the smartest guy in the world," blah 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 blah. But they would say, no, something more important than that. You're missing it, Jay. The part I'm saying is that what you have is different. It's like you're the guy that if I left you in a place, I would come.
Street smarts. It's more.
Wait a second.
Strange.
Yes. Because when I said that about you, I'm the same thing. So I'm not putting you down.
Oh, no, man. My little brothers are scholars. My little brothers got straight A's in schools, but they couldn't, figure out, like, it's the opposite.
If you left them somewhere,
street smarts. If you left them somewhere, they're going to be in trouble. But you can put me anywhere on the planet, and I'm going to come out. I'm going to come out with a crown on top. So that's
the same way. My siblings, my younger sisters are the same way. They're like book smarts, and I was like, hey, man, like.
I meant it as a compliment. I meant it as a compliment, Charles, because
it is. It is.
I know that you went to school for cooking, but I guarantee
I hated school, man.
Yeah, correct. That's not your thing. But when they told you, okay, we're gonna make veal parmesan, once you watched it, you're like, oh, I could figure that out. Like,
well, that's kind of what happened. Yeah. Like the funniest thing is when I was in high school, we had the counselor, school counselor. They sit you down and they set you down to set you up for college. Like, oh, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a professional hockey player. They're like, okay, what else do you want to do? I'm like, what? Just completely disregarded it. And for me, especially becoming a UFC fighter, like, I wonder if they were positive with that and told me I could do it if I would have tried a little harder to do that.
Sure.
Like when they disregarded, everyone told me you can't do that. That's when I started to realize, everybody isn't always right. You know what I'm saying? Like people tell you stuff that, they have their limits, but there's different limits for different people, like just because somebody can't do something doesn't mean you can't do it. And, that's come full circle so many times in my life. I had a double neck fusion, neck surgery 5 years ago.
I was going to ask you about that.
The doctor told me it was improbable I would ever fight again. Impossible. Basically said it was impossible. And I said, is it improbable or impossible?
Yeah,
he said, improbable, Charles. It's less than 1% chance. And I said, well, doc, I'm different. I'm a 1%. Only 1% of fighters make it to the UFC. Only 1% of people have come through what I've gone through. And I like my chances at 1%. And he said, well, I'll do my best. I'll do the surgery, but I'm not too optimistic. And man, he ended, that one, I was the 1%er. I came back and fought and won the most all-time wins in the Boston Garden coming off that fight. I didn't do any sparring. I was scared to do it, but
of course
I won that fight and I fought, 8 more UFC fights after that. And I'm still at it now. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So resilient. Like my worst injury has been like, not in boxing, I blew my ACL, but every time I'm like, oh, I can fight with a busted ACL, whatever, but never a neck problem. Knock on wood.
No, that's different.
Like that's brilliant. That's like the Vinny Paz.
It's like that movie, the Vinny Paz. Yeah, I love Vinny Paz. He's one of my favorite fighters too.
Totally.
And I've met him
Vinny's
a couple times.
He's a good friend of mine.
He's a legend, dude. Yeah, he's a legend.
A beauty.
So it's a similar thing. Like, and honestly, I forget when that movie came out, but I think it came out before my neck surgery, right? It must have been. Yeah, that movie came out, like 10 years ago?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of an inspiration for me, man. I always thought of something like, for me, it definitely not, if someone's never done nothing and it happened, like, I would still try to do it. But if I've seen someone that has done something and I'm like, my grandmother used to always tell me, who's better than you? Like, if somebody else can do it, you can't do it. So I always kind of keep that in my head. Like, especially if someone's already done something, like it can be done again, So like when I saw that movie about Vinny Paz, like that kind of was a little bit of a motivation and inspiration for me. And then the doctor did actually tell me, he goes, the only person that I've ever done surgery on that's ever came back was Peyton Manning. We did neck surgery. He came back and won the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
he's the one of 100 guys. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can do that. Like, and I
Yeah,
did.
because you have to
You're
think,
like, yeah,
It's
Charles, you
crazy.
facts.
have to think to yourself, you're
I
way
think
tougher
big.
than Peyton Manning. You're way tougher than
Yeah,
Peyton.
no, for real.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah,
So
for
like
real.
basically the whole point of all that stuff we talked about is like, when I was a guidance counselor and they told me, you can't be a hockey player, you can't do this. Like I always just listen to what people told me and teachers and stuff. Like you try to be as respectful as you can, but like I said, everyone has their own limits and stuff. And I think, I like the saying whenever I sign autographs for little kids, I write dream big, never give up. It's a cool quote. I don't know
I
where I
Yeah,
like
got it
that.
from,
it's nice.
but it's
I like
something that
that.
I think that if you never give up in life and you can always you have big dreams, then I think you're gonna have the best chances in life. So
I love that. I love that. I
yeah,
might
it's a good.
borrow that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Charles,
yeah, no, usually I stole it from someone. I think I stole it from your IFA from somebody. But it's a good one.
Charles, I don't want to bypass your brothers. Like, I
Yep,
really want to. I kind of want to indulge, like, because I know your family has like a charity thing that you guys have, and I
yep,
want people to know about it. But
yep,
when your brothers pass away, and the term, and people are confused by that when you say accidental drug
yeah,
overdose, and
yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, right? So
yeah,
and people go, well, what the hell does that mean? What do you mean
yeah.
accidental? Now,
I can.
and then there's people like that have passed, like Mac Miller, other artists, and they say accidental, and then people are saying, well, is it accidental, right? And this is for you to speak about, definitely not me. But what I'm
Yep,
saying is, I know your family has a charity that for substance abuse, right, which is rampant throughout the world. But literally, after your brothers pass and then you get to that, how can you like explain to the viewers watching, like when you say accidental?
well, I would say it wasn't suicide. I think if somebody
Correct.
does something and they take something that they want to kill themselves, I think like you could take a bunch of drugs and take too many drugs and overdose and
Yeah.
purposely do it and die. My brothers weren't suicidal. They were trying to take drugs. They were trying to have fun. My brother took what he thought was a normal dose of fentanyl at the time.
Jeez.
He traded some weed for a fentanyl patch. He got a toothache really bad. The doctor, it was like some holiday where the dentist was closed, so he just smoked weed, and the weed wasn't killing the pain or the Advil. So he traded. Some kid was like, hey, this will help with your tooth pain, so he traded some weed for a fentanyl patch, and he ate the whole fentanyl patch. He was supposed to only eat a piece of it or something, or however it works. He obviously didn't know, and he didn't wake up. And then from that, losing him, my older brother Dominic, he was a little bit worse. He was a drug addict. He did heroin and drugs, and I think his life, he a lot of the guilt from like losing my brother, but it's just like you get a bad dosage of things. People lace stuff with stuff, and like I said, that's why I say accidental, because sometimes people are like, oh, like they wanted to do it. They
Sure.
didn't want to die, but it's just that's what drugs do to you. They put you in a place and
Exactly.
you get desperate and you do things. And it was tough, it was really tough losing them, but it kind of molded me who I was today. And we have the charity is called Chucky's Fight, chuckysfight.com. And after we lost my two older brothers, my parents live up in New Hampshire, up in Hampton Beach. And when we lost them, we put their ashes into the ocean. So my dad's way of visiting them and dealing with the stress of it would go jump in the ocean every morning at 6 a.m. He'd wake up, still the sun's coming up. But when
Wow.
you live in New Hampshire, you guys are from Canada, when it's
Oh,
January
It's
15th, it's negative 10 degrees outside.
yeah.
My dad is jumping in the water, and he has
Wow.
something that, and hurts inside more than anything, even the coldest ocean that burns your skin.
That's it,
Like
Chuck.
that's
That's it,
that's his way of
Charles.
dealing with it.
Charles, that's it right there, eh? When your dad's jumping in that water, I kind of got a flash like right
Yeah.
away, because I could see him doing that when it is -10 outside, and that is just like his killer, like
Yeah.
painkiller, like
It
his
is. No, it
version of
is.
his
100%.
version of pain killing. You know what I mean? Because losing two children, right? Can you imagine, right?
No, it's
And literally, when I was studying for it, I'm sorry, but my brain goes there. My brain goes, I have two children, so I think,
yeah,
oh my god, if I lost my children, like
yeah,
accidental, not accidental, I don't care what it is.
yeah,
It's just that pain that your parents go through for that, and for what he does. I'll tell you,
yeah.
if I ever get in that neck of the
If you ever
woods,
get a chance, man,
I
you're
will
always
go.
welcome, man.
I will go
Especially
with
you.
him.
You're in.
I will go with your father. I swear to God, I'm weird like that. People want to go to weird vacations and like nice places. No, I want to go to New Hampshire when it's -10 outside with
Yeah.
your dad, and I
So
want to jump in. I want to jump in the ocean with him, because I can feel it. him right now doing that, and that's
Yep.
something
It
deeper than
signifies
And it's
more.
yes,
yeah, and
Jerry,
it's for a good
exactly.
cause. I mean, it's for a
Yeah.
good cause. He always has the big plunge on New Year's. That's the biggest one. There's like over 100 people jump in. He's
Wow.
had he's
Amazing.
had he's had the governors jump in. He's had Tulsi Gabbard, who ran for president of the United States.
Crazy, man.
Had tons of UFC fighters, dozens of UFC
Wow.
fighters. My little brother actually just did it today. He's fighting this weekend up in Calvin Cater's show on Combat
Oh,
Zone.
okay.
He's like
Yeah.
one of the co-main event up there, and he just did a Chucky's fight. He jumped in the water, got, raised money and giving away some tickets and stuff. So whether nobody jumps in, whether one person jumps in, or whether 100 people jump in, my dad goes every day. It's always cooler when they
Amazing.
film it and he jumps in, but he does it regardless if they're raising money or not. So he's
Yeah.
raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. The charity is dedicated to knock out substance abuse, so they get people in the treatment centers that don't have the funds to do so. Like, just because if you don't have the right insurance, man, you can't, like, and
You can't.
you're on
No.
drugs, you're drinking, you can't stop. You
Mhm.
can't just, it's expensive. You can't just do that. So he
And
usually
that's
gets it the first.
chuckysfight.com.
Yes,
chuckysfight.com.
fight.com. Yeah. So
And when we listen, thousands and thousands of people watch the Busted Lip podcast every week.
yeah,
We don't even give a shit about that. We care about like what we're going to do. Like Julian and I are very focused on our guests and what their cause is, not our
Yeah.
cause, what your
Yeah.
cause is. And we'll do everything in our power to bring as much attention as possible to Chucky's fight, because once again, it's people want to talk the Busted Lip podcast. I don't care about your statistics. I care
Yeah.
about that you went through shit and came out the other side. You're
Yeah.
not your two brothers that passed away, right? You use that instead different. You went
Yeah.
through the other way. Sure, you
Yeah,
use
some
them.
people could build it, like it could pound you down to the ground. It can make you
Correct.
depressed, and it can make you
Correct.
in the worst mind state possible. That's kind of what it did at first. Like, that's why I went to that treatment. It was like it just broke me down. I would think about it every day, and I remember carrying the friggin' casket like it was the worst feeling ever, the heaviest thing I ever did. And then now it's like I use it when I go fight. I got like an angel on each shoulder, and I go in, and when I fight, like I can literally feel them with me. I feel like I have superpowers. As crazy as it
Dominic and
sounds.
Vincent will never forget them.
I got one.
Never forget them.
Yeah, I
Never.
got one on each shoulder, and man, it's what I go to war with every time, and it's so much easier. That walk, I mean, you said you're like an 8-time world champion boxer. Like, how does it feel when you're walking in? You can say, "Oh, I'm not scared of this," but you always have that anxiety and stress.
Sure.
But if you had two angels on your shoulder with you, it'd feel a little bit easier, and that's what makes
Sure
fighting
would.
so much easier and pleasurable for me.
Wow.
Well, that's that. I was going to ask you about that. Like, I know
Yeah.
with boxing, the ring walk is so different. UFC, it's a big thing, and like we all have that voice in your head that's like, why the f are you doing this? Like, why are we?
Why
here?
do you do it? Just curious. What's your love
Because my
fighting?
dad told me I couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got like me. Someone tells you can't be something, you're like, I can't do
I was
You know,
like, bet. I went down to the gym and you were talking about getting bit with that bug. A light bulb clicked. And for me, I always say if you walk into a boxing gym or a combative sports gym, you fall in love with the sport, you get bit by the boxing bug.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, it's like
And
addictive.
it's so addictive. I played all kinds of sports growing up, blew my knee out playing basketball, and then I walked
She
into
had a scholarship.
boxing gym.
She had a scholarship for basketball. Then
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
when I met her, I'm like, why do you box? And she goes, my dad said I could never be good at it. I'm like, what?
You got that edge in your shoulder.
Eight-time world
"Bet,
champion,
I
8-time
got
WBC.
this."
Yeah,
That's
crazy.
awesome. That's amazing, dude.
So-
There's a belt there. You gotta have it on your shoulder.
I got.
So
It's funny,
somewhere.
I got a couple laying around.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. That's so
Yeah.
congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment.
Thank you. Yeah. But it was funny because I was going to ask you that about your ring walk and how you feel. So that's amazing that you feel that way with
It's
your
a
brothers
switch.
being your angels, because it is like,
Yeah.
my switch is like when I hear the bell ring, like, right? Because the whole time you're like, man, I never really questioned, did I do enough? Because I believe that as long as I train harder than everybody else, that'll get me through it, right? But it's always that thing, and my switch is the bell goes, you get hit, and you're like, all right, bitch, I got you. Kind of thing.
It's me or you.
Sink or swim, and I got this. But for you, so you feel calm because you feel like they're with you.
Yeah, that's how. Well, I have a switch. Like,
that's amazing.
Everyone says when they meet me, like, "Oh, you're the nicest person. You don't look like a fighter. I don't even got cauliflower ear. Like, I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Like, I wear the ear guards. You know what I'm saying?" But it's like everyone is. you're a nice guy at this, but when I fight, my mother doesn't recognize me. You know, it's like a switch goes off. I
Oh
bring
yeah.
back all that trauma as a little
The
kid.
eyes
Everything I had to deal
changed.
with. I get you hit that switch. It's about 10 minutes before I make the walk. You know, I'm all cool. We're making jokes in the locker room, but once they say, "Oh, you're on deck, Charles," you know, my hands are wrapped. I'm ready. I bang my
Yeah.
fists together and I go look in the mirror and I go to that dark place. And then when I make that walk, like everyone's like, "Oh, what are you thinking?" Like when you go to fight, some people are like, "Oh, like, well, I'm thinking about cutting angles. I'm thinking of this." Like I'm just thinking it's me and one guy in the cage and I'm trying to kill him. The only thing that's going to
Yeah.
save me is maybe the referee ripped me off of him. And it's a kind of a crazy, morbid, you could call it crazy or psychopathic way to think, but it's,
Yeah.
I'm like kill or be killed. Like I'm trying to actually kill the guy as 100% as much as I can. And then when the fight's over, I'm usually friends with most of the guys I fight, but it's just that's the switch. That's what you have to have, you know, to be a
I
good fighter.
always Mark's heard me say this a bunch. I'm like, there is something mentally wrong
Yeah,
with
Yeah,
every
definitely.
single one
Definitely.
of us. He's
Definitely.
heard me say it a ton. I'm like,
Yeah.
same thing. I am the nicest person. Like I
yeah,
am
I can
your
tell you.
biggest
This is
Yeah.
something that's
cheerleader. But all right, you put me in the ring. I'm the same way as you, so I love that.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
like,
something
hey,
not
well,
right. And it's not a bad thing
yeah,
because that's the business you're in.
no,
In
yeah,
any other
you're
business, you would not fit in. But in this one, you do definitely fit in. Like there's no
yeah, I had
question.
a hard time. I got in a
yeah.
couple. It was funny. I even got in a fight when I was working at the restaurant. You know, there'd be chef. You know, my chef was always nice with me and stuff. I remember the first night I ever asked him off was to go fight. I'm like, chef, on Saturday night
I
I
was
got to
gonna
fight.
ask you about this.
That's
But like,
crazy.
I've literally beat up at least fucking 10 waiters at my fucking restaurant. I worked at Cut 432. I'll never forget the
So I was
first
gonna
time
bring that up. I love.
You're
Yeah,
So
still
for
working at the
people,
restaurant.
I
hold
don't
on,
still
for
work there,
people,
but I'm still yeah.
You're at a different
cut
restaurant.
four
No,
thirty.
I don't work. I don't work. I just fight now. But yeah,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Cut
I stopped being
432
focused.
is like a bougie spot in
Yeah,
Delray. Like it is
yeah.
like
It's
Yeah.
not steakhouse.
it's super it's bougie. It's like the spot to go in
Yeah.
Delray or has been for
You
many,
got
many
you have a lot
years.
of money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's we go after my fights. It's like my
Yep.
because I love
So yeah,
steak.
it's
I'm
expensive. Yeah,
Canadian.
the
I'm
best.
Albertan. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
our celebratory spot. So
Yeah.
when I read that you worked there, and I was like, and then the story that you're telling right now, go on about how
Yeah.
you had
No.
to ask
So
for
this
the
is the
time
cool
off.
story. I
Yeah.
basically like there's always sometimes issues with like the chefs and the waiters because they're like, oh, where's my extra cheese? Or
Yeah, there's a
where's I
beef all the
told you.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. So you always got like this weird tension, but it's cool. So I'll never forget at the end of the night one time, this kid Mike Capiello, and I'm good friends with him now. He's a New York kid from Long Island. They're all smart, like you know, he has this blowout sniped haircut, pretty boy, diamond earrings, you know. And I'm like, and he's like, oh, fucking. I never forget a UFC commercial came on, and this was still when I was an amateur fighter, so I wasn't in the UFC
Oh.
yet. I was just starting to work there. I only had a bicycle at the time. My first 3 years living in Florida, I rode a bicycle. That's how I got
Wow.
to the gym and training. Like I didn't have a car, so you can imagine. Like I was, you know, wasn't always in the like, you know,
Super fit.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
was in good
sure.
shape, for sure. But he fucking so. One day a commercial came on and some kid was like, oh, Charlie, don't you have a fight coming up? And I'm like, yeah. And the kid, Mike Cap, was like, yo, you fight? He's like, I would whoop your ass. And I was like, no, you wouldn't. And he's like, get out of here. I used to wrestle in high school. I was like, dude, 100% I would fuck you up. And he's like, oh yeah. And I was like, I'll bet you right now. I would bet $20. He goes, all right, $20. We shook on it. And we're gonna do it right in the back because it was kind of a slow night. We're gonna do it right in the back
Slow
in the
night.
back of the restaurant. But the manager came out and was like, no, no, no. If something happens, you bump your head or something, like we'll do it after. You guys got to figure it out after work. So one of the other waiters was like, yo, let's go to the beach. So we had all
Oh,
like
sand
probably
fight. Yeah.
eight to 10 other waiters and waitresses, the bartenders, even the manager. We drove to the beach. So it was
It's like
over. We
it's
rolled
maybe
up.
like a 2 minute drive to the
Yeah, it's
beach.
literally a 2 minute drive from Cut. So we all just
Maybe.
drove up right there, parked. Yeah. And we go up, we go, oh shit, everyone else is placing bets. So this is like, everyone's super excited about it, you
It's a
know? And they
thing.
didn't, nobody really knew who I was. They were kind of like, oh
Only
yeah,
in
like
America.
Mike
Yeah.
probably looks a little bigger. He looks like he had a little bit more confidence and accent. And dude, fucking first thing he comes in, comes in, he fucking shoots in, and I just choke him out in like 10 seconds. And he's like,
Wow.
no, no, double or nothing, double or nothing. And everyone's like, what the hell?
No
What
choking,
And
no
happened?
he had a
jujitsu.
blow. I'll never forget. He had a blow with gel. So next time he shoots in, I just picked him up and suplexed him. And when he came out of the
Wow.
sand, he had so much gel in his hair that it was all sandy. And I'll never forget it. Looked at his head, and he's like kind of a little bit like wobbly because I think I slammed him on his head. And he said, "All right, man, you're good, you're good." And ever since then, everyone loved me. I was like
Oh, that's awesome.
I
That's
was
awesome.
like, man, like I went from being a quiet kid, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
but everybody respected me. They loved me. They all come to all my fights. They always, would cover my shifts if I needed, for training and fights. And man, I worked there for 12 years. Even fighting in the UFC, I was still working there, and they've been really good to me, and it's been an awesome place. And it's kind of what got me started. My first job in Florida was able to help me pay the gym fees and the rent. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make it down here. I wouldn't be able to live. But I mean, it's expensive down here. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, it's
how did you get to Ice Wars though? How did you make it? Like, how did that all? I know it was in Florida, and
Yeah.
I'm like, when I watched the video. Of course, I come from a big hockey background, Charles.
Yeah.
My dad's in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Oh, hell yeah.
My uncle won 4 Stanley Cups with Detroit, and
Oh,
and
yeah,
and one of your I arguably think he's one of the greatest Bruins of all time. He's a friend of mine, Phil Esposito.
yeah,
So,
legend. Yeah.
so I was on multiple shows with him. We were both born in the same city, and so there's a lot of connection with hockey. But when I saw you do the Ice Wars thing, I was like, "Holy shit, that's
Dude, yeah.
savage! That's a
Dude, it's fucking
savage
awesome.
sport. That's
It
a
is.
savage sport." How did that all come about? How did were
Well,
they
like I
just
said,
call you
I
up?
played. No, like I said, I played hockey my whole
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
I wanted to be in the NHL until that one school director told me that I couldn't be an NHL player, and I changed things up. I went to school for culinary arts, and I still played in college and stuff, but I didn't take it as seriously, But
Sure.
I loved hockey, but the problem is that my favorite part of hockey was the fighting, so it didn't really fit good, and I think that's what made me a good fighter because I loved hockey, I loved the game, but I was always getting fights. I actually got kicked off the college Johnson Wales hockey
Wow.
team and suspended from school for fighting. Like
Wow.
where if you do it now, like you get paid to do it, So
Yeah.
it's very strange, It was tough. But I loved hockey fighting. It was huge for me. I like watching Milan Lucic because the guys, some
Yeah.
of the guys
He's-
fighting, coming
He's a
up.
buddy
Yeah.
of mine.
Yeah,
He's a legend, dude.
we've had George LaRock on the show. George
Yep,
LaRock,
of
who's
course, yeah.
arguably one of the top guys of
Yeah,
all time.
good boy,
And then we've
yeah.
had Darren McCarty on the show too,
Oh,
which
yeah, I
is
remember him. I used to play with him in the NHL hits game too.
yeah.
But like, so I just loved it. So I stopped playing hockey for 15 years. I never
Wow.
joined since I was in the UFC. I stopped. But I'll tell you what, when I walked out to my first UFC fight in the Boston Garden, when I have the most all-time wins, I wore a Boston Bruins jersey with rose
They
on
went
the back.
bananas.
My
Love that.
real dream, like my childhood dream, I said was to play in the NHL, but it wasn't playing the NHL. My childhood dream was to get in a fight at the Boston Garden for the Boston Bruins
And you
win.
did.
Like that was my childhood dream.
Yeah.
And when I fought my first UFC fight, I walked out with a Boston Bruins jersey with rose on the back. The Boston Bruins, I met Brad Marchand, all those guys. They became friends of mine because they were at the fight, and I ended up putting to sleep the third round. I put to sleep like a kid, Sean Soriano. I choked him out, and man, like that was just like the best moment in my life. I made my childhood dream come true. I fought in the Boston Garden in the same arena that I grew up watching the Bruins play,
And you put someone to sleep.
and I put someone to sleep. Like that was exactly what I wanted to do.
That's what's up.
And then I later on I ended up setting the record for but there was one thing missing. I still never had that hockey fight. And then all of a sudden I heard of this thing, BKFC Ice Wars.
Wow.
And I actually reached out to them. I'm like, man, I have to do this. And I reached out and he's like, man, I can't believe you reached out to us. Like, we're looking for someone. We don't know any UFC fighters that can play hockey, like that can skate. Because you can't do it unless you can skate. So they told me that so let's do it. We set it up. We worked out a deal, and we got it done, man. And I fucking did it. And I went and I got.
Was it busy? Was it busy?
What busy? What
was
the show busy?
Crowd?
Oh yeah, no, it was good. I mean, I think it was busy because of me. Like, I feel like I kind of saved this. I'm not like taking anything away from it, but there was a lot. It was at the Florida Panthers arena.
That's
where
right.
the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup. The American Bank Arena, it seats 20,000 people.
We know they did twice in a row on us. Yeah,
we're from Edmonton, so
I
was there. I was
so
there.
It was sick, but it was like they put me as a co-main event. Which but like I just feel like they kind of did it on like short notice. No one knew what it was. Like it's so confusing. Is it hockey?
It's very confusing. It is.
So it was the first show ever. So like the first show ever. So I mean, I think I sold over like 300 tickets. I sold like,
Wow.
a couple $100
awesome.
a couple tables like for $5,000. Like, so I was able to do decent for them and make like, make
Sure.
the show good. There was, Rosa Nation was there. There was over 300 people with my t-shirts cheering my name. You could
That's
get
awesome.
a Rosa chant going. But I just feel like if there was like 5 more of me, you know what I'm saying?
it
Like
would have been
five, like,
perfect.
It would have
like
been
5 more of me,
bomb.
then it would have filled up the place. But it was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy I was fighting wasn't like a big name, so it kind of made it
Was
a little
he
bit
from
more
Boston?
difficult.
Was
No,
he
he's
from
from Canada. They brought a hockey player
Oh, he
there,
was.
so
Wow.
they said a
Yeah.
hockey player
Yeah.
playing UFC fighter. So I mean, that's what they
Yeah, I had
gave
no
to
idea
that.
that you knew how to skate.
Well,
Well,
it's
that's what they,
so
they thought I
funny.
didn't know, but I played hockey. Yeah, I think
Well,
that's
it's
why they
so
gave
funny.
me.
It's funny because I went and I was helping George train a couple of hockey guys, trying to teach him how to fight.
Yeah,
Because George is a friend of mine. He played in Edmonton as well.
George
So
LaRock.
he's like,
there's wrong. Yeah, I
George
was gonna say
Rock.
that's
Yeah.
a legend.
He's like, he's like, well, can you come help with some of the boxing stuff? And I said, dude, of course I'll come help you. You're a friend of mine, but
yeah.
I can't. I can't skate. I can and I can't. Like I can't stop. Like
Yeah, yeah,
I
I know
can
what you mean.
skate,
Tough
but
thing.
so I
Yeah.
was like I was like in the box and like trying to help these guys, and they're like, "Can you just come out here?" And I was like, "Absolutely not." Also, I'm 5'7", and these
Yeah.
dudes are like 6'4", and then
Especially on skates,
Skates, yeah.
6'7" on skates. I was
Yeah.
like, "No, man, I can't help you." But it is way more challenging
yeah, it's not the
than you
same
would
thing.
think because you're on blades, like you're on
Oh,
skates,
100%.
and
And
you're
that's what
trying to
people don't understand.
balance and
Yeah.
like
But that's why people don't understand. Like, 'cause I had a lot of UFC kids, friends and fighters and kids in my gym, like, yo, can I do this? I want to do it. Even my coach was like, oh, I'll do it. I'm like, dude, you can't
go
skate.
ahead.
Like, you're
Yeah, you
not
have to
going to
know.
learn how to skate.
You have to know how
And
to
he's like, no,
skate.
I would
Yeah.
still whoop your ass even if I didn't know. I go, okay. Even Hector, I don't know if you know who Hector Lombard is, but
I
he's a
do.
multiple
I do,
time
yeah.
world champion.
Yeah.
He told me, Charles, I want to do this hockey fight. Come on, bro, give me a fight. And I'm like,
Teach me how to
Hector, I don't
skate.
think you realize,
No,
like,
he
you can't
doesn't.
ice skate. Like,
No.
he's like, no, it's
Yeah.
okay. I'll learn. I'm like, no.
No, it's
Like,
totally
you
different.
could literally take, like, in this case, and this is what I think they thought with me. I don't know if they thought I could really skate. Like, a hockey player would actually beat up a UFC fighter that couldn't skate on the ice because he can't
Yes.
skate.
That's
People
right.
don't realize that,
Yeah.
but UFC fighter that also played hockey could beat up a hockey
It's
player.
it's
You
the
know what I
same
mean? Like, that's
philosophy.
a.
It's the same
But
philosophy
you
with
could take
yeah.
the UFC. You could take friggin' Brock Lesnar and put him on skates, and if you could skate, you would whoop his ass. Like, he can't skate, he'd fall.
Correct.
No,
It
the
Correct.
doesn't
minute he
matter.
falls, and then you're
Yeah,
at.
he's onto your face. Yeah, he's
Well,
falling
we
down.
used to
He's off
we used to
balance.
we
And
used to
balance is the
yeah.
number one thing. You're a boxer, you know. The first thing I teach anytime I teach a private lesson, the most important
Yeah.
thing, I teach a little 9-year-old, and I say, what's the most important thing about fighting? 2 things: distance, and what's the other thing? Balance. And if you don't have balance, then
You're done.
you're in big trouble.
Yeah, you are. Totally.
Yeah. It's funny the ice thing. I personally, I grew up in Canada. I'm born here.
Yeah, yeah.
I there's
You
and
can
I
skate.
can't.
You can ice skate. You
I
can
can
ice skate.
kind of skate,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be able to fight on ice.
Yeah.
Not as
No.
But I played hockey. I played in
Yeah.
college, so it's not like I can skate.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
Yeah,
guys used to
that's
come
funny.
down to the gym, the boxing gym that played for the Oilers, that they would try to learn like boxing, but not when guys were sparring, including George. So
Check it out. I gotta show you real quick. Here's my little baby.
Oh, so cute.
She just woke up right now.
Bella,
Say hi.
Bella.
Oh, she's so cute. How old is she now?
That's
A
awesome.
year and
She's 8 months. Yeah, 8 months.
8
Oh,
months.
fantastic!
No,
making her
my
debut,
listen.
making her Busted Lit podcast debut, man, right there.
You already know.
That's
That's your first one.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
She's so cute.
Yeah, she's good. So no, it's
9
this.
months,
You know,
and you have one more on the way.
yeah, baby boy on the way, but she's still in the belly, so we gotta wait.
And your wife, and your wife, did you meet her out there or in Boston?
Yeah, here. No, I met her here, so
Here,
that's
yeah.
it. You know, I literally met her on an online, like a Hinge dating app. I took her to the Hard
Okay.
Rock Casino,
Wow.
took her to dinner, and that's the rest is history. You know, so it's
Wow.
good, and
Nice.
you know, definitely, yeah, it's awesome. You
And
know, it's like
she's in luxury real estate, correct?
yeah, she luxury real estate. She sells houses called Posh Properties in Delray Beach, right on Atlantic Avenue. It's a
Fantastic.
beautiful high yeah. So she does good, and it works good because they've like even sponsored me for my fights, and it's
Nice.
good networking. You know what I mean? Like that's
Of
the key
course.
of life. I think is networking, meeting the right people, and you know you get a lot of these fighters that come to fight down in the UFC. Even like you come down here, and they need places to stay or they have money to buy a house and like they don't know anybody. So if you know somebody in networking, you want to obviously find someone that you know that can direct you rather than some stranger that you feel like he's going to
Totally.
rip you off, you know. So
Totally.
we've done good, you know, she's done good with it.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. That's
For
awesome.
sure. And what people don't understand about where he's from and like Boca and Del Rey and Florida is a hot spot for training for all
Yeah.
kinds of
oh, it's
athletes.
the best of the best fighters are here.
Like it is like we have Del Rey boxing, we have a couple guys that were in the UFC or are in the UFC
Yeah,
and
no,
still
yeah. I
compete.
trained there for years, and then also they have like these Instagram kids. I actually trained at Delray Boxing Gym
Yeah.
for a long time. I trained a kid named Supreme Patty. He was like one of those kids that like he does crazy things like jackass type stuff, like squeezes
Yeah.
lemon juice in his eyes. And he had a signed bout agreement to fight Justin Bieber. So I got a call from this kid,
Wow.
and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah.
Charles,
Like the Misfits
this kid."
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this celebrity kid. He wants you to train him, so I trained him there for 8 months. For 8 weeks, we did a training camp, and then the Bieber pulled out of the fight. Of course, I mean I don't know what happened, but you know he ended up fighting somebody else. But it's pretty crazy. I mean now like the Jake Pauls and stuff like that. There's also a whole nother types of fighting.
That's
So
right.
fighting is getting big, and even there's a kid even in my gym. I don't know if you know who he is. I guess he's like a porn star. His name's Jason Love, but he's been training at our gym.
I wouldn't know.
He's like I don't
Me
know who
neither.
that. No, I didn't
If
know
he's
who he
a
was
porn
either.
star, no.
And
No.
no, he's not. But like but he's I guess
No,
he's like he's with Aiden Ross, and Aiden Ross is a pretty
Oh.
big deal. So
Yeah.
they did a big thing, and they he just fought and he won. So we train all types of people. You know, there's kids, people that just want to. They're celebrity boxers. We train people that want to fight. We train guys that just want to be able to defend themselves. So it's all types.
Did
of
you leave ATT just for the sole purpose to open your own gym?
No, I kind of left because it's just like with my neck injury, it was hard to keep up the training that they wanted me to do. Like I have a great
Sure.
relationship. I actually just went and cornered one of my buddies from ATT, Danny Sabatello in Japan,
Wow.
with my coach Mike Brown, who won Coach of the Year. He's my
He
coach.
did,
Good
yeah.
friend.
Awesome
I'm
guy.
good friends with Dan Lambert and all these guys. But it got to the point where like I have my little brother training, and I'm like, he couldn't come in there because they're very like consolidated. And
Mhm.
after my neck injury, it's hard to like. What got me that neck injury is because I overtrained and kept I'm sparring. One round with Colby
Killers.
Covington,
Yeah, all
next
killers.
round Dustin Poirier, next
Yeah.
round George Masvidal. They're all a little bigger than me,
Yep.
and I'm like, and then the next round, it's like nonstop, grind at the highest level. There's really no days that. And then if I don't show up, like, hey Rosa, what happened, man?
Yeah, where were you?
Like,
Yeah.
where were you? Like, we needed you. It's like, well, what about me? You know what I'm saying? And I get it. It's the highest level, but
Yeah.
this is a selfish sport. You have to take care of yourself. And
It's
I put my neck through 2 surgeries and multiple surgeries training there, but it got to the point where I needed to focus on myself, and that's what I did. And I opened my gym up, and
That's
we
awesome.
did great. I still have great relationships. It's just I'm 30 now. I'm 30. 39 years old. So I've been at it 15
How
years.
far are
So
you
I
from
just
how far are you from ATT? How far is your gym from ATT?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay.
everything is close. So
Yeah.
like
Kill Clip is 5 minutes the other direction. Yeah, so
everything is super close. Like you can drive down the street in Boca and Del Rey, and there's like gym after gym after gym on the same block.
American Top Team and
not
Kill
just
Clip are 2
boxing.
biggest gyms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not just like it's just the fitness down there is a massive part of why people are
I know
down
Dan
there.
Lambert though. I know if you're 5 minutes away, like it's got to be a little irk to him.
Nah, he doesn't care, dude. He's rich.
Yeah, I know he says that, but
He doesn't care, dude.
Yeah.
No, he's cool, man. I mean,
Yeah.
it's cool. I was in the gym the other day to drop off tickets for my fight. When I fought there, he let me come in and drop off tickets. Like I said, I
Awesome.
just cornered Danny Sabatello. And it's not like, the thing is, they used to be a gym. The thing is Dan's gym used to have, the American Top Team used to have regular students, not
That's
just
right.
fighters. Now it's just fighters. So the gym that I have has regular, like lawyers and accountants and regular moms and people
the
that
people
want
who
to
pay your
fight.
bills.
Yeah.
People who pay the bills fight.
Yeah,
Dan just
definitely.
has fighters. He just has all killers in the gym. It used to not be like that. So I think if like it was a gym that was a little different, like
yeah, you're right.
it's not really competitive to them. It's
No.
like what I'm saying. Like it
wouldn't be.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be.
I have a question. So your younger brother, you and him fought on the same show. Is that not correct?
Yeah, my little
How
brother
cool is
Lucas.
that?
Yeah,
awesome.
Lucas, the King of Monsters, Rose. He's actually fighting this weekend in Combat Zone up in New Hampshire. He's actually up there now promoting the fight at my family's house. And yeah, man, he's my little brother. He's 29
But you
years
guys
old.
fought on the same show, did you not?
Yeah,
Did
I
I
was the
read
main
that
event. Yeah,
correctly?
TS. Yeah, it was. Yep. I was the main event.
How
He's
cool
now.
is that?
It's the coolest thing
Yeah,
ever, man.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He's just following in my footsteps. I gave him the
I love
blueprint. He's,
that.
he's following the footsteps, and he's one of my best. He's my best friend, dude. He's a great kid,
Are you going
hard
out for the
worker.
fight? Are you going out for the
Yeah,
fight?
I'm
Yeah.
flying up in 2 days to go
Okay,
to
good.
New Hampshire. Yeah, so I'll be up there. Calvin, I don't know if you know Calvin Cater is, but
I
he's
do.
an
Yeah.
awesome fighter,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be up at his show. And
I love
yeah,
that.
my little brother's undefeated. He's 8-0, looking to be 9-0,
I
and
love
I'm
that.
just
Awesome.
Dana White told me to give him a call when he's ready. So I think after this or maybe one more, we'll make the call and get him in the UFC.
Did you know Dana in the Boston days?
No, I just know him from the UFC.
But not from
He's
back in
giving him a bunch
Boston.
of bonuses. No, but all the people like I know, like boxing coaches and people know him, and
Everybody
you
knew
hear all
him.
the stories and stuff, and a
Yeah.
lot of friends like my coach Mark Targrati knows him. My manager Joe Cavallaro, who runs
Yeah, I know Joe.
yeah, Joe Cavallaro, he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
good friend. We've been growing
That's
up, so like
yeah.
they would make calls for me when I needed things done. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hard.
It was
Like
different.
yeah, it was just different. If you got connections with the right people, you make things happen. You get the fight. I got on all those cards, but then once Dana started to get out of the game a little bit, like he's less involved, it just made things more
Yeah.
difficult. There's so many people and so many things, but he's always been good to me and taking care of my contracts and things that I need to get done. And like I said, I'm the most winningest fighter of all time in Boston, so my
That's
name's
awesome.
fitting and it's
There we
it's cool. I've
go.
got,
That's
but that's
so are
kind of
you
when I left the
I,
UFC. Is the reason I left the UFC. Honestly, my
You're
last
like,
fight.
done it.
I had
Got
two
it.
fights. So I had 2 fights left on my contract, and
oh,
they didn't put me on the Boston card. And like they're at the point now where they only fight these guys like once a year. And I'm
yeah,
like,
it's not
listen, I'm
enough.
38 years old. If you're gonna wait another year to fight me, like I need to just go do my own thing. And they're like, well, we respect Charles. Whatever you want to do, like we'll let you out of
Yeah.
your contract. And people would think it's crazy to get let out of a UFC contract. What are you doing? Like, are you crazy? You get paid, over almost $100,000 a fight. Well, I made more money fighting 6 fights in that year and other shows
Yeah.
and sponsorships, which you can't have sponsorships in UFC.
That's
And I'm
right.
staying active. It's not just for the money too for me. It's like for my mental health. Like if I'm not staying busy fighting, like I don't know
Yeah,
what
it's a
the hell I'll
problem.
be doing. I'll be
Yeah,
in trouble, dude. Like if you
yeah.
fight once a year in the UFC, and sometimes they'll call you and like, oh, you need you to fight in 3 days, and you're like, yo, what? Like
Yeah.
if you don't take the
Yeah,
fight, we're
they're
gonna
not.
release you.
Yeah, they
It's not.
shelf
It's
you.
not.
They shelf you. They do. Yeah.
It's strange. And then when they
Yeah.
do offer you a fight, it's in short notice. So it's tough. It's a really tough sport, and it's a tough way to be. And I like to be able to call the shots and do things my way. Because when you're in the UFC, you don't call any shots. They tell you what to
You
do.
do
And
not.
No.
Yeah.
it's tough.
So you said you have. Can you tell us your
Yeah, your news.
fight
What's going on?
news?
Your
You said you have
Yeah.
some.
Well, I can give you a teaser. I guess I can't
teaser.
give
Give
you
us a
Okay,
like
teaser. We're
anything.
okay
I
with
can't
that.
give you the donors, but
that's fair. I
I'm gonna
tried.
be part of Game Bread.
Oh,
MMA is coming back with George Masvidal. He's the
no.
promoter, and they're gonna be throwing two 16-man fight tournaments for $500,000
Cool.
for the Grand
Fantastic.
Prix 16-man. It's going to be one of the biggest Grand Prix tournaments, lightweight and heavyweight tournaments in history. So they're going to be announcing that news soon. So I can't give you all the
Is that
details,
bare
but
knuckle MMA?
bare knuckle MMA, yeah. So
Wow.
that's what I'm
Wow.
best at too, because my
Wow.
grips, I got no gloves. I can really lock up, my
Yeah, yeah.
grips
Hey, there you
and
go.
my punches. Yeah. So I've always had
Amazing.
good luck with my hands. I think I'm more of like a speed puncher
Knock
and
on wood
accurate
for you.
puncher.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know I can with myself, but it's like I feel like I don't like something like the people like they throw like the way I throw is I think I just throw more with speed and then like the power, so I don't hurt my hands as much. And then when I get
Well,
when I get around someone's neck, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way my hands are built. Maybe they're bigger for my body or what. But I just don't. I've been fortunate enough
well,
never hurt my hands in 100 fights.
Yeah.
Charles, if you want some work and some help with our team, come down to
Oh,
Delray
I would love to.
Boxing.
I'm definitely gonna get some work with you. I like after we hang up,
Sugar.
I can get your number and I'll come by and
Yeah.
love to.
Jeleena's being shy about it, but she's always in Tyson Fury's camp as well.
Oh no way!
I
Yes.
work.
Yo, do you know my
So
boy Walt Ticket? Walt
Yeah.
Harris? Have you met him or no? Walt the Big
sorry,
Ticket. Do you know who Walt the Big Ticket Harris is? Because he helped Tyson
Paul
Fury. That's
Harris.
why I was down
I
there. You
think
probably know.
so.
He's a UFC
I
fighter, but figure.
Oh, no, I've been like in the last few camps. Sugar Hill Steward's my trainer, so we're down
Yeah.
in Delray all the time. They're down there now. We'll connect after, and I'll
I
get
would
you
love
there
to do
if
that.
you
No,
want to
I
come
love
down.
like I said, I love boxing gyms. I don't know if you know John David Jackson, but he was my
Yeah,
boxing
I
coach.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an awesome boxing coach. He's my one in Florida, and then I trained with Mickey when I'm in Boston. So he's a
Yeah,
great
he's
coach.
great. So if you want to just come down and work out with us
I
anytime,
would
I'd
love to.
love
That'd
to
be an
have you
honor.
around.
Yeah, you know, I love getting.
Yeah.
That's why I'm called a mixed martial artist. MMA is mixed martial arts, and I go train with the best in their sports. And I try to learn it, and I try to put it together in my discipline. You know, like that's
Hey,
what I
how
try to
tall are
do.
you? 'Cause maybe you could be a sparring
Five
partner for
ten,
me.
five
Oh,
ten.
fuck.
So yeah,
Okay.
wow, that's a big. Too big. Well, I mean, I fought at one.
I'll do it.
It
I'm
says
in.
I fight
Yeah.
at 45, but I'm like 175 now, so I'm much
Yeah.
Oh,
bigger than I
shit.
was. Yeah,
Jolena,
but
Jolena, can
I
you?
was looking, you're like 145. I
yeah,
was like, well, I
no, it's
fight at
not.
122 now, but
I'm
I could
big
do
boy, but I would
145.
love to move with you. You could probably show me some stuff. I love learning from everybody, and that's like I've traveled. The one thing about me that you probably don't know is I've traveled the entire planet training
Yeah.
martial arts. Like I went to
I love
Cambodia
that.
and trained Bokator. I went to Holland to train Dutch kickboxing. I went to Thailand to train Muay Thai. Been to Brazil to train Jiu-Jitsu. I've traveled the entire planet, finding the best martial arts and the best
Love
disciplines,
that.
and I've learned them from the
We
best of
just
the
had
We
best.
we
had
just
we
recently
had
Liam Harrison
Liam
was on the show.
Harrison.
Yeah.
Oh no
We
way!
had Liam
Really?
Oh
Harrison,
yeah,
and
savage.
I met him at the WBC convention. He said he was telling us amazing stories about how he moved to Thailand to learn
Yep.
Muay Thai. And so
I
like,
think, yeah,
and
it's like that's
I
all it
agree
is.
with all of that. Like, I think that's amazing. The only place you're going to go is to the origin to learn these things. Sure,
Yeah,
there's
that's right.
great trainers everywhere,
Yeah.
but
Hey,
you
you go with
know,
the best. If you want to be the best, you
yeah,
train with the best. That's how I look
100%.
at it. That's why I
100%.
went to American Top Team. I'm like, this is the best gym in the planet. And like, I mean, I got kind of lucky finding it. I didn't know,
You
but
Yeah,
stumbled on it.
it
Stumbled. Yeah.
was.
it's
I guess it
stumbled
was
on
destiny. You know what I mean? I don't know.
for sure.
Jolena, give us the last word on your end today.
The last word. I think you're amazing. I love everything you've done. We're for sure gonna connect and do some training. I'd
Yes,
love to come down to
please.
your gym and vice versa. And I love your story, and I would love for
Thank you.
people to check out your family's foundation.
Yep.
Definitely.
If you can repeat it so I don't mess it up. It's
Chucky's Fight. It's Chucky's Fight, CHUCKYS fight.com. You can just go and Google it. It's also, we have some Instagram, like my mom runs it. It's not,
That's
you know,
awesome.
sweet.
a little bit, but you can see my pops jumps the last video. My pops jumps in the ocean. It's
Wow.
negative 17 degrees and
He's
snowing
calling me
out.
out. He's
And he
calling me
does it
out.
every day.
He's calling
So,
me out.
Maybe
He's
you
calling
and
me
I
out.
should just do it in Florida.
yeah, that'd be much
Where
better.
it's
Yeah.
nice and warm. Where it's much warmer.
It's getting a little cold here.
When
So,
I'm down, we're gonna connect and
yeah, let's
figure
do
out
it. I'm
some
definitely down and I would love to train.
100%
And
Yeah.
send me a text when we hang up, and I would love to come work with you. I
for
love.
sure.
I honestly believe like every person, especially that's a professional, especially someone you that's a multiple time world champion, like everybody has something that they're really good
So
at,
true.
they're the best at, and if you can pick up all those skills, I don't know if you ever watched like Highlander, but like you get all these skills from all the best people and you put them together, and that's what makes him the best mixed martial arts fighter. You know.
And Charles, can you leave us?
Amazing.
Can you leave us with the last word for our viewers, just about what the journey you've gone through to get to where you are today, and just kind of for the people watching at home.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what I said before. What I write whenever I do like little kids autographs, or I just like to tell people and leave people with the messages. Like I always say, dream big, never give up. You know, like there's been lots of times in my life where I could have gave up and took the easy way, or said, "Oh fuck this, I'm done." I could have quit after my neck surgery or retired. I could have not listened to all the physical therapists telling me that it's impossible. You can't
Right.
do that. You can't do that. You know. You know, and also a good one my grandfather used to tell me is that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Some people say,
Yes.
"Oh, you're lucky," but usually it's not luck.
It's
It's
not.
hard work and things that has most to do with it. The harder, the luckiest people are usually the hardest workers. So I'll leave you with that.
That's it.
Facts.
Well, thanks for
Yeah.
thanks for being on, Charles. We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. And part 2 coming one day, guys. Don't worry.
I
Part 2
appreciate it.
Sure.
Let me know. I'm on to hop on anytime. So
Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you. Hey, it's good to talk to you. And I get my number from when you hang up. Send me a text. All right.
We will.
Got you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Charles Rosa, everybody. UFC veteran, Ice Wars veteran. The connection, Jay.
Yeah, he's great. Like I think he has so much more that we didn't get to, and
Yeah.
I'd love to have him on again and talk about a lot more stuff. But what a good energy type guy so far.
Totally.
Like great energy. Love his story and love what he has to say.
Love it. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in today to the Bustle It podcast. We want to thank Crystal Glass, your clear choice for all your glass needs. Everybody, that's the lovely Jelena Mrjinovic. I'm Mark Pavlich. Tune in every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Mountain, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on the Busted Lip Podcast.
One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do. Two can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. One is the loneliest number that you'll